What would happen if a simple wish turned into your worst nightmare? Imagine that during the New Year celebration, a group of friends finds an ancient book of wishes in an antique shop. The book promises to fulfill any desire in exchange for a price, something valuable to the one who asks. Intrigued by the possibility of getting what they have always wanted, they decide to try it without thinking about the consequences. What begins as a night of celebration and hope soon transforms into a terrifying experience that will test their friendship and sanity. The night begins with laughter and toasts. The festive atmosphere is palpable as the young people gather at Clara's house, an enthusiast of mystery who has always been fascinated by the paranormal. After a dinner filled with anecdotes and dreams for the new year, Clara mentions the book she found in an antique shop. Her friends, skeptical yet intrigued, encourage her to show it. As she opens the old tome, the air becomes dense and a chill runs down their spines. The yellowed pages are filled with wishes written by people who, like them, sought something more in their lives. Without thinking twice, each one formulates their wish. Clara wishes for true love. Miguel longs for success in his career. Laura seeks revenge against those who have wronged her, and Javier, the most skeptical of the group, simply asks for happiness. At first, the wishes seem to be fulfilled spectacularly. Clara meets a charming man that very night at a nearby party. Miguel receives an incredible job offer that places him at the top of his career, and Laura watches as her enemy faces ruin after a series of unfortunate events. However, soon the friends begin to notice that each fulfillment comes with horrible consequences. Clara is pursued by a jealous spirit that is unwilling to let her go. Every time she is with her new love, she feels a dark presence lurking in the shadows. Miguel finds himself trapped in a cycle of unfair competition and betrayals. His colleagues seem insatiably eager to see him fail and do not hesitate to use unethical methods to achieve it. Laura discovers that revenge only feeds her own hatred and suffering. Every time she feels satisfaction from another's suffering, something dark within her grows more voracious. As the night progresses and midnight approaches, the friends realize that the price to pay is higher than they imagined. Laughter turns into tears and joy into despair as they try to find a solution to reverse the effects of the book before the clock strikes the end of the year. With each chime of the clock, tension mounts and fear takes hold of the group. Clara remembers the warnings written on the pages of the book. Beware of what you wish for. In the midst of emotional chaos, they decide to search within the same book for clues on how to undo their wishes before it is too late. Their search leads them to discover dark tales about those who have used the book before and how their wishes turned into eternal curses. Meanwhile, the jealous spirit begins to manifest physically. Dark shadows stalk Clara every time she tries to get close to her new love. She feels her heart racing when she sees that shadow at the end of the hallway, where hears unsettling whispers when she is alone. Miguel faces unexpected sabotage at work. His colleagues seem insatiably eager to see him fail. Every time he tries to advance in his career, something seems to get in his way. A lost report just before it is due, or a colleague stealing his ideas to present them as his own. Laura finds herself trapped in an endless cycle of violence where every vengeful act only brings her more pain. Although she enjoys seeing her enemy lose everything they had, she herself begins to lose parts of her humanity. Desperation takes hold of the group when they realize they must make personal sacrifices to reverse the effects of the book. In the midst of confusion and growing fear, Javier decides to investigate more about the origin of the book. He delves into its dusty pages seeking answers and discovers tales about people who made similar wishes and how they ended up trapped in endless cycles of suffering. Each story reveals more about the dangers of human desire and lessons unlearned by those who came before them. In a final attempt to save themselves, they decide to perform a ritual using the same book as a guide. With each step of the ritual, they must confront their own inner demons. Clara must face her fears about love and loss when she realizes she is willing to sacrifice everything for that idealized but dangerous love. Miguel must learn to let go of his excessive ambition. As he gains more power, he feels emptier, realizing he has lost his true friends in the process. Laura must reconcile with her past in order to move forward without hatred. By remembering deep wounds inflicted by her enemies, she begins to understand that clinging to resentment only brings her more pain. As they perform the ritual, shadows begin to dissipate and negative energies seem to lose strength. However, not everything is so simple. Time is running out and they must complete the ritual before midnight strikes. The pressure mounts when Clara once again feels that dark presence drawing closer. She can hear threatening whispers filled with macabre promises as she tries to focus on the words of the ritual. Finally, with only minutes remaining, they manage to complete the ritual just as the bells begin to toll. An explosion of light envelopes the room as they feel how evil energies slowly dissipate. But not without cost. Each one must renounce their selfish wish formulated at the beginning of that night. With tears in their eyes, but lighter hearts, they accept sacrifice as part of their learning process. When the bells cease ringing and a new year begins, they find themselves exhausted but relieved. They have learned a valuable lesson about desires and consequences these can carry. They look at each other with a mix of gratitude and sadness for what they experienced that night. They know their friendship has been tested but also strengthened. At dawn, when golden light enters through windows illuminating the messy room, they feel renewed hope. They have left behind shadows from their past and are ready to face a new year together, but this time with wisdom. They decide to close the book, forever promising not to let themselves be carried away again by superficial and impulsive desires. Thus concludes this terrifying story about the Night of Wishes, a warning about how dangerous it can be to wish without considering real repercussions. If you ever find yourself tempted to ask for something without thinking about its true cost, remember this story and think twice. If you enjoyed this narration, or if you felt chills running down your spine while listening, do not forget to like this video and leave your comment on what you thought about this tale. I also invite you to follow our channel for more unsettling stories like this. There are many more surprises waiting to be discovered in our upcoming releases. Happy New Year!